Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Captain Mike here. We're going to finish up the aft overhead today by completing the flight recorder switch, the Mach speed test buttons 1 and 2, as well as the stall warning buttons 1 and 2. And the final indicator is going to be the PSEU. So let's start with the flight recorder switch and indicator. Now the first thing we need to do is find out the flight recorder switch number. So we're going to come into devices, come down to my aft overhead controller board, go to input, and then we're going to move that switch, and as you can see, it's associated with number 9. So we're going to come back into the profile creator, go to input, and we're looking for number 9. And as you can see, I'm already set up for the guard as well as the flight recorder switch, since that has a guard on it as well. So we're going to set this up twice. So the first thing we're going to do is set up the guard. Now I'm going to edit mine, but you're going to add this. So there's no precondition here. That's blank. And the input is going to be PMDG 737. The input type is going to be a switch. The input for me is 9. You may have a different number. The PMDG event you can see is right here. Make sure that's spelled out exactly the way you see it. The data press is going to be 1 and the data release is going to be 0. And we're going to say OK to that. And now we're going to enter the switch. Now I'm going to edit mine, you're going to add. And again, there's no precondition here. We're back to input. It's the PMDG 737. The input type is a switch. The input again is number 9. And whatever number you're using, it's going to be the same one that you use for the guard. The PMDG event now is going to be for the switch. Again, make sure that that is typed out just the way you see it. The data press is going to be 1 and the data release is going to be 0. And then we're going to press OK. Now once that's done, we need to go ahead and find out what our output is going to be. So we'll come back to that controller board and we're going to go to output. Now I already know my numbers because I have all this done, but you're going to have to go through this until you find out what it is. My number, I believe, is 49 for the flight data recorder, and that's now on. So we'll turn that off. We're going to come back into the profile creator. We're going to go to output now, and we're looking for number 9. Number 49, that is, which is the last one on the list, I believe. Yes. And then here is my flight recorder annunciator off for the indicator. You're going to add yours. I'm just going to edit mine. Again, there's nothing under modify and there's nothing under precondition. And the output is the PMDG 737. The output type is LED. The output number for me is 49. Yours, again, may be different. And the PMDG data is going to be flight recorder and annunciator off. And then we're going to say OK to that. We're going to save this, and then what we can do is we're going to run this profile, and if we move our switch, you'll see that it matches that of the PMDG 737 aircraft. Alright, let's move on to the Mach airspeed warning and then on to the stall warning. Now continuing on with the Mach speed warning 1 and 2, we're going to come back into our controller board for the aft overhead. We're going to go to input and we're going to press the buttons. Which is 10, and we have 11 on the push buttons. And since we're here, we're going to take a look at the stall warning as well. And you can see that's 12 and that is 13. So we're using 10, 11, 12, and 13 for the Mach and stall indicators, for the push buttons, that is. So we're going to come back into our profile creator, and we're going to go to input, and we put these in order. And the input we're looking for is number 10, and as you can see here, it is already set up for the warning test Mach indicator 1. The one below it is set up for 2, and then we have the stall warning 1 and stall warning 2 right below that. So let's take a look at the switch. I'm going to edit mine, and again, you're going to add yours. Oh, let me turn this off. And there's no precondition here. The input is PMDG 737. The input type is a switch. The input is number 10 for me on the push button. Here is the PMDG event. Make sure that that is spelled out exactly the way it is here. The mouse press is going to be a left single, and then the mouse release is going to be a left release. And we're going to come into number 11, which is number 2 on the Mach. There's nothing here on the precondition. The input again is PMDG 737. The input type is a switch. The input for me is 11. Your push button may be different. This is the PMDG event. Again, that needs to be typed out just the way you see it here. The mouse press is going to be left single, and mouse release is going to be left release. And we're going to save that. We'll come on to the stall warnings 1 and 2 now. And stall warning 1, there's no precondition. Back to input. It's the PMDG 737. The input type is switch. The input for me is 12. Again, your number may vary. The PMDG event, as you can see, is here. Type that out exactly the way you see it. It needs to match. The mouse press is going to be left select, and mouse release is going to be left release. And if we come up to the last stall warning here, we're going to edit that one. There's no precondition. And we go back to input. It's PMDG 737. The input type is switch. The input for me is 13. Again, your number may vary. The PMDG event. Make sure that's typed out just the way you see it. The mouse press is going to be a left single, and the mouse release is going to be a left release. Now, once you have this done, make sure that you save your work, and then we're going to load up MS 2020 and start dim. Now, it may be a little difficult for you to see these buttons going in and out, but if I push the Mach 1, you may be able to see that going in and out. We'll push Mach 2. You may be able to see that going in and out. We'll come back and we'll do stall warning 1. You should be able to see that button going in and out. And then stall warning 2. And that takes care of those 4 push buttons for the test. Up next is going to be the final entry, which is PSEU, and that's going to finish off the aft overhead. So today we're going to finish up the aft overhead by entering the indicator for the PSEU. And again, we're going to go into our controller board for the aft overhead. We're going to go to output. Now I know that my PSEU number is 20, so if we come in here and go to 20 and press that, you will see that the PSEU indicator does illuminate. So we can turn that off. I'm going to go back into the profile creator and go to output, and we're looking for 20. And here you can see I'm already set up for the warning indicator for the PSEU. You're going to add this, even though I'm going to come in here and edit. There's nothing under modify, there's nothing under precondition. And under output, we're going to select the PMDG 737. The output type is LED. For me, my output is number 20. Yours may be different. The PMDG data, as you can see here, is set up for the PSEU. Put this in exactly the way you see it, and then select OK. Once that's done, you're going to select Save, and then that's going to complete the PSEU indicator, and that's going to complete the aft overhead. And if I come back into my home page, and I'm going to run my entire setup just so I can show you the PSEU comes on, I'm going to run my test switch, and that should bring that indicator light up. And there you have it. All right, everybody, that takes care of the aft overhead. I'm going to begin with the forward overhead next, just as soon as I have a little bit of time. All right, everybody, take care. Catch you on my next run.